Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here, still just taking a look at Black Ice. There are so many changes that I'm trying to come to grips with all of them and figure things out. And I hope everyone here is enjoying the series. If you're new around here, of course, please subscribe. Everyone, I hope I'm earning you licking that like button. It tastes nice, I'm informed. Different for every video. And if you've got any comments, questions, tips, please post them below. I love learning new things. Resistance to occupation. Yeah, okay. It pursues closer bonds with Germany. And new panzers. Chassis. Okay. We can now do the check. Gun, 57 days. Okay, we've got food, which is going to help us. Well, you're welcome. Genosi. I'm not sure I'm butchering it. Don't mean to. Okay. We are expanding. No, we'll put it down here. And we'll put another one over here as we get the capabilities. Okay, we have new submarine class. We have new Stuka class. And we have new tanks, but let's come over here. We got a new tank hull here. Okay, what we don't have is torsion bar suspension yet. For that one, we need to get that one. Okay, we'll get some of those. Thank you, Arno. Arno is a great moderator. Still just in June, but June of 39, so we're getting closer. Expand aircraft factories. Synthetic rubber with another synthetic refinery. Mixed industry, 2 more civilian factories. We've got our west wall. No, we don't have our west wall because they go, oh, we got 28 days. Oh, we're about ready to start World War II without a west wall. Look at the things I neglect. You want a west wall. Excavation. Okay, fuel storage, which we're getting close to filling up our current ones, but oil extraction factor. I think we'll do that. Yeah. We need the west wall. We want to hold this with as little effort as possible.
Ausrücken! Ausrücken! Ausrücken!
I think that'll be enough to hold it once we have the west wall. Okay, some more power vault factories are coming online. We need more military factories. Never enough.
Achtung!
Well equipped is this? Like, as in, do we have enough trucks, artillery, and everything? Like, we don't have enough light vehicles here. And currently, oh, down 900. Damn. Okay, wasn't historical Westwall basically one trench, one large gun emplacement, gun to use, one random concrete building? No, West Wall was rather well developed, at least in areas. There had been a lot of eastern fortifications, some western fortifications that were, for a map like this, it'd be, this province here and this province here would have some fortification. It was just periodic areas, I think, of likely areas of advance into Germany that they built fortified lines, not big continuous lines facing Poland or something. Here, starting, what was it? Really, I think starting in 37, they start building up the West Wall. Organization Todt is, I think, the primary builder. They also have several major civil contractors building as well. And it is a well-developed line of defense. Maybe as good as the Maginot line, but because the Maginot line is a lot more propaganda than reality.
Angetreten!
Well, let's go to this theater. Okay, let's.
Angetreten!
We'll give them that. Create.
Angetreten! Bereit! Angetreten!
New formation here. And let's give that to von Manstein. Let's move it over here.
Angetreten! Ausrücken!
I read one historic book, something about massive mistakes and delays in West Wall construction. I'm not going to say that that's incorrect. Yeah, and because okay, I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know how much I'm influenced by propaganda versus real political analysis, or real historical analysis, I should say. It does seem to me that the Autobahn system was well done. Okay. Seeing as sort of a government program doesn't mean that there isn't government inefficiencies, or you know, and I don't want to say corruption is necessarily, because I don't know of any. I really don't know of any of like money going into people's pockets, but maybe a bit more like political favor corruption, going on. But it does seem that overall quality, overall speed of building roads, and this is, you got to realize, there are other highways in the world at the same time, if not before the Autobahn. There are some in Britain. There's a few in the U.S., just a few that are, and sort of by highways, what I mean is a strip of road that doesn't have crossings on it, meaning you don't have to come to whether lights or other signals or just stop signs to cross, meaning you're just going down that road and any cross traffic is going on a bridge over or under. You're not having to wait for like a train to go by or other things. There are some other highways, and some of them are better banked than others. There are a few of these other things in existence at and around this time. I don't know the extent. I don't know how often some of these highways would, say, go from town to town, but not go through town, if you know what I mean. Meaning they might be like a contiguous highway, then comes to the edge of the town, and then it sort of goes through town with a lot of cross traffic, and then on the far side of town, it takes off again on the highways, as opposed to, a highway cutting through the town or a highway going around a town that you would get off. But my understanding is the Autobahn is the first sort of big national system that is coordinated with the same sort of set of rules, same sort of sets of building standards, how wide the road, the lanes are, how the off ramps and on ramps work. And it's all sort of well designed and organized, where things happening in the U.S. are sort of haphazard. Each state, each city, each whatever, or private companies building these things are all different from each other. It isn't until the National Highways Act under Eisenhower, until Eisenhower becomes president, I believe. So not under Truman, that you finally start getting, national. There is, and it still exists, there is still what we call a freeway out here in LA. And it is, one of them is scary to drive on. If you're used to LA highways, this is a not well banked, fairly sharp turns, and although there are no like cross traffic coming across, I'm trying to remember the highway name. I've driven on. It's been a few years since I've driven on it, 10 years or more. But there are, so there isn't like any stoplights or cross traffics once you get on it, and it's like 2 lanes each way. But there's like come up to like a stop sign to then just go and get on it. There's not like a good on ramp, to pick up speed. And so it's and this was made back in the 30s, right around this time, or the 1936 or something. So this, and it's going sort of from sort of downtown LA up into the sort of hills up here. I'm trying to remember what freeway. I used to know the name of it. I'm just blanking on it right now. And so that is sort of a special project that they put in again in the 30s. When you still have the red cars running, which were sort of a cable tram system, and a lot of other things. Also wondering how important was the West Wall for Nazi Germany. France wanted to stay behind. Yeah, well, okay. and Germans needed to push into France. It's of considerable importance, and the reason I'm talking about all these highway things is from the physical evidence, including photographs of some of them post-war, some of them pre-war, of Germany's highways that was primarily built by organization Todt. But it's also Philip Holzmann was a major contractor on both the Autobahn as well as the West Wall, meaning this is a privately owned company, large construction company that are building these things. And there were some other larger and smaller construction companies being, building, as well as government stuff, building these highways and contributing, either doing whole sections on their own or working with some of this other stuff. And so I can look at the highways and see that it was well done. Now take that same organization, while you're still continuing, though slowing down, partially because they've completed a lot of what the, let's say, essential elements of the Autobahn has been completed. They're still, up until some point into the war, they're still building more Autobahn. It's really, I think, around 1942 in the Moscow counterattack to a lot of the domestic construction projects finally cease. A lot of them are slowing down because lack of resources, lack of manpower, but they're still sort of struggling and continuing until around early 42, and then they're finally stopped. So you take this whole thing, and then I look at photos that I've seen of phases of construction of the West Wall. It seems fairly extensive. Now, of course, that's where they're going to put the camera. So you got this sort of valley with all the dragon's teeth and some bunkers on it. What's in the next valley over? It may be nothing, but I will readily admit that they're going to highlight effective entrenchments, effective concrete works, and there's a lot of them, and they seem to work well. So, with that in mind, I think the West Wall was rather effective. Now, the mere fact that your enemy is not going to be aggressive, you don't rely upon the enemy doing what you want them to do or what you think they're going to do. You got to prepare for them to doing something that you don't want them to do, whatever that is. And you don't want them to push in. Now, there is the Saar offensive that France goes on while Poland still exists. Now, the French they find that it's sort of a little too easy. They're like, what? We're invading. Partially because this is drawn wrong, these two provinces. These two provinces for the Saarland should be, instead of two parallel, or two, they're parallel either way, two horizontal provinces, it should probably be two vertical provinces. Because the West Wall sort of comes up here and cuts up this way. Does not go right into the border area here. It's sort of like a shortening effect and giving up. So when the French push into here, they find fields of landmines and barbed wire placed out there, which is part of the West Wall, but not very heavily fortified. The fortification areas are sort of back here in the more eastern half of the Saarland. The Germans figure they're not going to be able to hold this against a determined enemy or a determined assault. So they put just sort of screening forces here. The screening forces do enough to slow down the French, and they push in fairly effectively, but then run into enough roadblocks that they slow down, and then they eventually just retreat back out of it. It's somewhere that the Saar offensive I would put somewhere between a propaganda effort and an actual try to help the Poles out by trying to divert German forces. But it's as much propaganda as real invasion. It's sort of a mix there. What it does do is it gives Germany the ability to have fewer forces here facing what is perceived to be the biggest and the most effective army on the planet, which is the French army in 1940. Perceived. I'm not saying it is. Obviously, the German army is more effective, and the Soviet army is bigger. The French army is bigger than the German army, but the German army is more effective than the French army. The Soviet army is much bigger than the French army, but not nearly as effective as the German army. So you sort of have that calculation there, if you will. Give you to Manstein and send you east. So when you're facing this big army, your fortifications are really good. Now you got to also understand how the Germans view fortifications versus how the French view fortifications. If you look at through World War I, through World War II, if you look at how the Germans use fortifications, they are not meant to stop a determined enemy attack. Okay? That's not what they're meant to do. They're not meant to go, we've got the West Wall and it will not be breached. No, that's not their mentality. That's maybe the French mentality, but that's not the German mentality. The German mentality is to have a strong line of defenses that will take significant effort to breach, so that if there is a general offensive, like all along the front line, well, the Germans know that, or believe, maybe not know, because maybe the French are stupid enough to do it, but that you don't put equal measure of attack all along that line. You may attack all along the line with artillery and infantry assaults, but some places you're going to attack stronger than others. The Germans want to have a hard crust, if you will, that will be difficult to break through, but you will be able to break through it. They want you to be able to break through it where you're determined to attack. You're putting effort. And that way, they will know where to react to, where to send the reaction force, where to send the reserve, where to send the counterattack. And so that is how the Germans, and this is a bit, and now it's on this scale, it isn't necessarily meant that they're going to break through to, this province or this province back here for the attack. It's more, here's the wall here and the reserves are back here within this, it's like so this division is on the front line, this division is in the reserves, shall we say. And where they're breaking through, that's where the reserve division goes to the breakthrough, because that's where the concentration is. Now, it's also the hard crust of the fortifications are meant to attrit and break up and, exhaust the attacking forces as well. It is also meant to disrupt the attacker. So those are elements of a German defensive line. And that's how they also use rivers as a defensive line. They put, if they're defending the Rhine, they'll put now the Rhine is pretty big, so maybe not the Rhine, but some of these other smaller rivers, generally speaking, you'll put a line of forces on this side of the river and your main force back here, so that, again, this crust, now it's a lot thinner than a fortified crust, and you very well may fortify your side of it. But the enemy will have to fight through, and you'll determine by how vigorous they're coming through and where they get the bridge, and it'll get you the idea of where to concentrate your forces to react to it. So the Germans are very a proactive defense, where the French, they just want to entrench in their line and hold and hold and hold, and periodically, swap out divisions or units, whether it's a battalion or platoon from, so you're holding the line, your company's holding the line, taking a lot of casualties. Okay, swap out, one unit for another unit and keep holding that line. That's what they want to do. They want to hold that line. Now, just looking at the forces, what they would not have up at the front are these motorized or armored forces. France did not have any armored divisions until 1940, and it's the first one is given to Charles de Gaulle, and it's the counterattack at Arras, and the division is only partially formed at that point. But they did have more motorized type forces. That's what was sitting back here ready to go into Belgium, more mobile forces. So the West Wall is important. That reminds me, when I played HOI II as Germany for the first time, I thought the French would act historically, and French conquered Würzburg. Well, yeah. And so, whether you're playing against the human or an AI opponent, you can't rely upon the enemy to do what you're expecting the enemy to do. Whether it's to hold the line or to hold, or to attack or not to attack, or attacking concentration or to attack spread out. You can't rely upon the enemy to do what you want it to do in any sort of planning. And these defensive fortifications, whether they be obstacles, barbed wire or dragon's teeth, those are only so good as, or fields of landmines, as they're watched. Yes, it does take any of them time to move through them, but the idea of having them is to set them up and have observers that then will call in artillery, or have screens of riflemen and machine guns to disrupt the people, trying to get through the barbed wire or trying to remove the obstacles of the landmines or whatever. So the real idea is to have that landmine and then have people sitting back to bring, whether it's light mortars or heavy artillery or something, to put onto the enemy, and some machine guns and some rifles and some, if there's into 1940, if there's enemy armor, some anti-tank rifles or guns or something to disrupt. But it only needs to be, shall we say, a bit of a screen. Sure, if you have the manpower, certainly you can put a division there behind it. But maybe you just put a battalion, for whatever stretch of the open is, because it's going to take the enemy a long time or heavy casualties to get through that area. And you're not necessarily planning on holding that. You're planning on, again, from the German perspective, allowing them to come through. But you're going to know where the strong breakthroughs are. And that's where you'll then smash it with two divisions coming up. Yes. Okay. And whether it's tactical, operational, or strategic, you sort of have to understand the doctrines of the forces and how they're going to build things. Okay, you guys come up to here. All three of your divisions, you're going to go over Russia. Improved heavy torpedoes, which I really don't care about. Just what to do with this. Okay, we're going to come over to here. And now we're going to research. Yeah, I know it's a long ways in advance, but okay, Goering's, yes, we will do the 4th year Goering's 4-year plan. West Wall. So now we have West Wall. Now, I think, was there an event that we have to do to actually build the West Wall? Yes, here we are. So, and I do like this better than just simply push button, get effect. So here, West Wall, which grants civilian factory use 8 for 28 days, we'll have the various levels of land fortification there. So we will want to do that. Okay, that will definitely help us. Black defenses 14 days. Yes, we will do some of this. We're getting a little better on the occupation now. Why go for that? But let's. Was there the jerry can? One that we should do here. Oh, okay. Superstructure is good. Here. Hmm. Yeah, let's get that going. Well, look here. Do we have? No. Mortar teams. Okay, special forces battalions. We have enough. So let's do that. Radios. We almost have enough for. We have enough for a mobile battalion. So let's do that. Anti-tank rifles. Well, we'll put them in there. Now. And we're going to come up to. Oh, we got this production line here going. Oh, good. But we don't have the steel for it. So let's move that up here. Oh boy, we're way down on steel. Okay. This other production line that I put in. All right, because I didn't know this was coming by an event, and it did. But all right, we can still do that. Let's improve our Stukas. Improve our light artillery. Let's come over here and we're not getting. Okay, well, let's go up to that. That should get us closer to there. Now, Sweden again is now building lots of steel. Let's look at our negatives. I think what we need to do here is build more horse transport. Much as I hate building more of these things, let's do 2 factories of that.
Angetreten.
Get on boats. Get over here.
Befehle.
That's that gen. Black defense is very good. Okay, so yeah, here we have good solid. So that's 2 civil factories. Okay. Oh. I don't know why they put the flat. They built. Okay. Westfalen, Hanover, Schleswig, Niesen, they may have been doing some stuff over Berlin, but one of the early primary black areas was the sort of Rhineland, Saarland, Moselland. So that should be up here. Okay, thank you, Genosi. Hope to see you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Glad it was reasonably fun. I think we'll do this, which gets us 2 military factories going, which would be nice.
All right.
Well, right now it looks like we have plenty of forces to take out
Ausrücken.
Poland.
Achtung.
We'll keep his group together. Super veterans. Okay.
Angetreten. Achtung. Befehle.
Hate the way these counters work.
All right. Bereit.
Early radar. This. We have a special thing which gets us this earlier, so we'll do that. Get the jerry can. We need 3 more steel now. Okay, well. Foreign volunteers, well, nice for the manpower. Okay, now we're still maintaining strong war support, strong stability. and we moved into better manpower. Now let's limited motivate. Let's move into the 3-year draft. So we're going from, we had been at 1-year draft, which is down 10%. We're now at 2 years, which is straight recruitable. We move here, we go to plus 10% recruitable population. Dispersed industry. Well, that's nice. Stability down. But what we can see down here is production plants. Some of these things would be very useful. So let's get that going. Well, I don't know how needed the extra power plants will be, but let's add one there. And I think we'll do some military plants. And okay, again, all of our serious lack of equipment here. Okay, heavy artillery might be the thing, or light vehicles. We'll do heavy artillery, one heavy artillery, and where's our light vehicle? There's our light vehicle. One to light vehicle once we get it. Okay, yes, we no longer under the negative effects of West Wall, which means we can build more. And yeah, we'll do another power. More and more options opening up. We'll do that casemate. And let's look over here at some of the tank types, as well as like these. Let's get that. None else seems to be available now. All right. And yeah, it's here. Let's just see. You got to keep remembering to check over here. Some of these are based on, control of certain territories. Some are based on just dates. So you got to check once in a while. I think we're going to go for a early 1940s start. A lot of it has to do with the equipment deficits here. Well, here and here, and horse, and particularly horse. Recon radios. Well, cool. Yes, I keep coming back to these sort of fundamental resources and production capabilities. What else did we... Oh, the Panzerjäger 1. We could build. Nibelungen works. One. Light vehicles. There. Just as I was thinking about it, let's send you down to here.
Achtung! Ausrücken! Befehle!
There we go. Hopefully these very weak units, garrison equipment, infantry equipment. Don't we have enough infantry equipment? Are we lacking that? Oh, it says it's 0 of 0. Huh. Okay, well. German Bausch dies. Okay. So we have 2 power factors coming online. Still worried about food. Haven't really played long enough with that to know well, but we'll just add a factory there. Now steel. Okay, that's good. Now we can come over here and buy more steel. Wouldn't that be still 73? Okay. Well, didn't I just buy more steel? Why is that not changing? I'm paused. That's why it's not changing. Okay, 23. Okay, joint policy, whatever. Yes. Let's see if we can buy some more iron from somebody. Getting all we can from the city. Union, U.S. is embargoed us, it looks like. Okay, well, let's go Spanish state. Now we can get Swedish steel, or we can't, or I don't know. God, I'm getting sick of that.
Achtung! Ausrücken!
And what are we lacking? Nothing. Torsion bar suspension. Okay. Well, let's look and see. Can we do torsion bar suspension? Ah, with this. Okay. Yes, we can, and we should have been doing so. See, I like detail, but is that useful detail? That I have to research that particular thing. Where are my wagons? There. And steel is now a problem again. Yay! Question is do I wait it out or do I buy more? I don't know what I should do. Oh, what problem do we have now? Steel again. Oh boy, what's the problem now with steel? No, it doesn't have a problem with steel. What's well on portable gas fuel cans, the jerry can, yes. Well, I think we will end that here. When do you plan to attack Poland? I assume it's the first thing. Yes. I'm probably going September 15th, 1939. That's very close. I forget what the date in September was. That's when it happened historically. Well, we're currently doing mixed industry plans, but when we get done with that, come over here. We have Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact, which will take 20 days. And then we will have solution for Danzig, which I think will get us the war. So that we're probably going to do it early spring 1940. Mobilize the Reich 7 days. Has completed limited mobilization. So I thought we were working on. Oh, we got to do this 30 days. So, so yeah, general mobilization. So we're coming up to some of this stuff here. So, war will be soon. Sweden has delivered. Yes, war now. War soon, not war now. But I think we will call it a day here with this episode. It's been fun. We'll see how all this goes. Yes, I'm sure we can take down Poland, but we'll see how the rest of it goes after that. So thanks, everyone. See you next time for more, yes, even more heart.